Assalamu alaikum friends, my name is Bilal Khan and today is my 35th video of DevOps. So in this video I am going to talk about a tool that is called Terraform. Alright, but before discussing what is Terraform, let's first discuss what is the infrastructure as code. Alright, because you need to understand the infrastructure before discussing all the tools like Terraform, Ansible or Chef or any other tools that are related to DevOps. So this is an important concept that you need to keep in mind. Alright. So let's take a look at this first heading, that DevOps task before automation. So what were the processes that were happening before the automation or the DevOps? So in the past, when you had tasks before automation and you wrote an application and wanted to deploy it on the server, for that purpose you have to do many things, alright, manually, like get the servers and set them up, configure networking on these servers, create route tables, install necessary softwares for these servers, and configure the software and install the database, etc. Alright. So these were the tasks that you were doing before the automation or DevOps. So all these things were manually done by the system administrators, and as a result, there were more human resources cost and more time and effort were required because all the things were done manually. Alright. So the above points were just the setup phase. Alright. So these are the processes that were just needed for the setup phase. But if you want to maintain the status, you will have to maintain them like update the version, deploy new release of an application, database backups and updates, recover the apps or servers after crash, and add a new server or database if the previous server is crashed. So these are for the maintenance purposes that you have to do when you want to deploy an application. So before deploying an application, you will have to set up all these things. But after deploying the app, you will have to maintain this and you will have to do all these things. So these were the processes that you were doing before the automation. So after the automation, what is happening? So after the tasks were automated using DevOps, you can now automate all the process with infrastructure as code. Alright. So infrastructure as code automate all the tasks instead of doing them manually. So all the knowledge and expertise of system administrators, alright. So these are the knowledge and expertise of system administrators and operations team are now packed into various programs and applications that carry out all these tasks. Alright, so now the place of this system administrator is taken by various programs and various tools and services that will now perform these tasks automatically. So IaaS or infrastructure as code is a concept, alright, but there are IaaS tools and programs like Terraform, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, etc. Alright, so that these tools carry out all these tasks automatically. Alright, so after that, why are there so many tools like Terraform, Ansible, Chef? Why can't we have just one tool to do all these tasks? So currently there is no tool that is doing all the tasks. Some of the tools will perform some task and another tool will perform another task. But instead of using different tools for doing different tasks, and each of them is good in that specific area. Alright. So although all of the tools are not performing every task, but the tools that are doing this task are specific in some area and they are doing it perfectly or correctly. Alright. So let's take a look at the main categories. So the main categories of these tasks are three. Alright. So the first one is the provisioning of infrastructure. The second one is the configuring already provisioned infrastructure. And the third part is the deployment of an application on the configured infrastructure. So let's take a look at the provisioning of the infrastructure. So you will have to set up or spin the new servers. After that, do some network configuration. After that, creating some load balancers and then configuring all the stuff on the infrastructure level. So these are all the things that you will be doing when you want to deploy an application and you want to start from the beginning as an infrastructure. So you will have to set up the servers, configure them, and create load balancers, and configure all the stuff on the infrastructure level. But after that, if you want to configure them, how you can configure them? So you will have to install the applications on the server, managing those applications, and the step is required to prepare the infrastructure or servers with all necessary stuff to deploy your application. So these are the steps that are required to deploy the application, because it will make the application ready for deployment. Alright, so you will have to first configure it. So after setting up and configuring up, you will have to now deploy this. Alright, so deployment of an application on the configured infrastructure. Alright, as you can see that when the application is configured, now you can deploy it. So with Docker, the configuration and deployment are now merged together. Alright, so you can now deploy this and configure them at the same time, because both of the functionalities are merged into Docker. Alright, so you will package the configured application in a container, alright, in a Docker container, and after that you will deploy them on a server. So now the infrastructure as code automate all the tasks in different categories for different phases. Alright, for different phases, it will automate the task in different categories. So you will use the combination of 2 or more IES tools to automate the whole process. So there is not one tool used here in the infrastructure. Instead of it, you have to use 1 or 2 or 3 tools if you want to. Alright. So this is the process how first of all the initial setup of the infrastructure will begin. So the Terraform will perform the initial infrastructure setup. Alright. All the tools that are above it, like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, will not perform these functionality. Alright. So first of all, for the initial infrastructure setup, the Terraform will come into picture, and it will set up the initial infrastructure. After that, it will manage it, and then it will set up the application initially. Alright, but it will not deploy them into the server. So what will who will deploy this? So now the Ansible, Puppet, or Chef will come into picture, and they will manage the infrastructure and set up the initial application, and then manage it and deploy it. Alright. So the Terraform is used for the infrastructure as code, for the main purpose, and the Ansible, Puppet, Chef are used for configuring this application and deploying them. Alright. So this is the last stage of this application, but for the beginning you will have to use the Terraform. So Terraform is used for provision and configure the infrastructure, and it is made specifically for infrastructure. Alright. So for the starting of an infrastructure, or for setting up, you will have to use the Terraform. Alright. But after that, if you have set up the infrastructure and manage it, and initial setup, you have done this. After that, the Ansible and other tools are used to install and deploy applications on that provision infrastructure. And these softwares or tools are made specifically for configuration. Alright. So now let's talk about the Terraform. So Terraform is an open source infrastructure as code tool developed by HashiCorp. Alright. And it helps companies with infrastructure as code and automation. So now the second point is this: it is used to define and provision the complete infrastructure using an easy to learn language called HCL. That is HashiCorp configuration language. Alright. So you can now write your infrastructure as code on any cloud platform. Alright. So it means that you are not dependent on any specific cloud provider like AWS, Azure, or Google cloud provider. So Terraform will work on all of them. Alright. So if you are working on the AWS, you can use it, or Azure or GCP. The Terraform will work on all of the cloud services. So now let's take a look at the installation process. So first of all, you will have to visit this website, and this is a Terraform website. Alright, as you can see that I am currently present in the download Terraform, and now you can see that these are the operating system like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, Solaris. So you can download the application according to the operating system that you are using. But for my case, I'm using Linux, so I will click on this. Alright, so if you are using the Linux, there are other packages also, like for Ubuntu, Debian, CentOS, Fedora, Amazon Linux, Homebrew. So I'm using Ubuntu, so I will take these commands. Alright, so first of all, you will have to copy this command and paste it, and then you will have to copy this command, and then you will have to copy this command and install the Terraform. So after that, if you download this Terraform application, you will simply need to write Terraform version. Alright, so currently I have downloaded this application, and this is the latest version of it, version 1.3.3. Alright, so after that, what you need to do is once Terraform is installed, check its version by typing Terraform version. Alright, so I have done it. Now the next process is to print the hello world. Alright, so this is the main hello world, or the starting of a Terraform application. So hello world Terraform configuration. Now the first thing that you need to do is to create a directory by the name of Terraform. Alright, so let's create a directory. Make dir Terraform. Alright, so now this directory is created. If I type ls, you can see that there is this here, you can see right here, Terraform. This directory is created. Now I have to get into this directory, cd, and after that create a subdirectory by the name of hello world. So let's create a subdirectory in this Terraform directory. So hello world. So now after that, let's get into this hello world directory. Alright, so now I'm present in this hello world directory. What I need to do that inside the hello world directory, create a first tf file by typing vi-tf. So let's write it first tf or Terraform. So let's press enter on this, and then write the following data inside this file. So let's write this output hello, and then value is equal to, hello world enjoy. Alright, so now this is done. After that, what I need to do is to press escape and then write wq, and now if I write first tf again, you will see that the data is present here. Alright, so you need to run another command. Basically, you need to run the command if you are present in that directory, if the file exists in that directory. Alright, so if the file is present, then you need to run this command, Terraform plan. So currently this file is present in this hello world directory, first.tf. After writing and saving the data type Terraform plan to show the key and values that you have printed, and it will show you the result. So let's write Terraform plan. So now you can see that this is the output that it is showing me, and I have written it. Alright, so this is a simple output that I have shown you. So now you can apply this, but I'm going to show you the applying command and other things in the upcoming video. So that's it for now, because I just want to show you the hello world, and I will end it here. So I hope you will like this video. So if you liked it, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, then ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So till then, goodbye.